You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on the Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV channels app. Thank you for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. And for your second listen, go check out the folks over at Locked On SEC with Chris Gordy, or hey, Locked On Auburn with Zach Blackerby. Any of the great Locked On shows covering teams that Oklahoma will face, you might want to get you a little bit of insight into what those teams are looking like. You can do it right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Nick Saban turning from GOAT football coach to maybe GOAT analyst. We'll find out as he takes his game to the broadcast booth, and had a few things to say. Let's discuss what he had to say about Oklahoma and Brent Venables. On Venables, he said, "I think he's a really, really good coach. He's a hard worker. He's an attention to detail guy. He's one of the best defensive coaches in college football. I think their roster is getting better, especially on the defensive side, which was the issue," alluding to the Lincoln Riley era, Jay.
Yeah, and I love that Nick Saban really pointed out, that Venables is a defensive guy, right? We know Saban is a defensive guy. Kirby Smart's a defensive guy who's a descendant of him. And Saban recognizes that he walked into a team that was built specifically on skills, positions, and offense, and he needed to reshape that defense. And over the last couple of years, we've seen improvements, right? No, we haven't seen the improvements that y'all want to see, where you're seeing teams only getting 200 yards a game. No, but we're seeing them give up less points than we did the years before, right? Especially being able to, we're not having a whole bunch of games where we're battling 40 to 50 in order to win the game. We have to score 50 points, and they score 40 points. Last season, we gave up 30 points only 3 times the entire season, which is huge, right? Mm-hmm. That's a huge deal for people to recognize. And so Nick Saban saw that. He knows that Brent Venables is a really good defensive coach because he dealt with him in 2 national championships and a third one when they played, right? He knows that Venables knows what he's doing on the defensive side, and he's seeing that the roster is getting better, especially on the defensive side, with guys that complement exactly what Venables is trying to do. So you've heard me preach this numerous times on here, and it's the one thing I will constantly tell you. The defense is going to be the most important piece of here, and it looks like Venables has got exactly the pieces he needs in order to be successful on that side.
Yeah, we've been talking about how this defense looks like a unit that can help carry the load for this team. It's not a defense that has to be carried for a season. They are going to be winning Oklahoma football games in 2024. How long has it been since we felt that good about a defense going into a season? It's got to be a while. Now, that 2021 defense with Nick Bonito and Isaiah Thomas and Delrin Turner-Yell and Patrick Fields, those guys were good. I think they exceeded expectations, but still, I don't think they are or were to the level that this defense is going to be in 2024. With the number of linebackers that you have, the great safety depth that you have, the improved defensive line, especially at defensive tackle, Brent Venables has the guys in place for this team and this defense to ascend to top 15, top 10 status, whether in yards per game or in points per game. And that's going to be the big reason why Oklahoma flirts with 10, 11 wins this season.
Yeah, even being in the Big 12 in a conference that's known for putting up points all over the place, right? Oklahoma did really well defensively against a lot of teams that knew how to put on points. And that's where you want to get to, right? In the SEC is completely opposite, right? It's funny. I had a conversation with the Locked On Auburn guys and a few guys from that Auburn media. And the running joke about it is that they've only seen in 2 times in their entire franchise's career, in college football history for Auburn, they've had a 3,000-yard passer. That's every year for us. That's something that we are accustomed to. If we got a 3,000-yard passer, we are losing our minds. Auburn's only had 2 ever. And they're like, man, we would love to have that. And so when you say that, it makes me think back to the era of like the Sam Bradford era with having him throw for 4,000 yards and having 2,000-yard rushers. They looked at me and said, man, I bet that was fun. I was like, no, we lost to Florida in the title game. They're like, but yeah, I bet that was fun. That's the perspective you got to think about going into the SEC. You're going to go against a lot of schools that have never had quarterback play or have probably close running back play, but not quarterback play like we had, right? You got a lot of those that have never seen a 1,900-yard rusher like we did with Adrian Peterson. You're going to see a lot of them without 2 1,000-yard rushers. I mean, Auburn had that, but they didn't have the passing game. So, yeah, it's going to be a different animal for us to where we need to recognize that, sure, we're going to pass for a good amount. We're going to run for a good amount. We've got to make sure the defense is not giving up the points. I don't care about yards anymore. Keep them from scoring, and I'm happy.
And that's what it comes down to. You won the game against Texas. Yeah, you gave up a ton of yards, but you kept them from scoring. The goal line stand, the Billy Bowman hit on Jatavian Sanders that Kendall Dolby intercepted. I mean, you kept them from scoring in big situations. That's the name of the game. Give up a lot of yards, doesn't matter. You limit them to points, which Oklahoma did a good job of that last year, and you're going to win some football games. The other thing that Nick Saban had to say, well, this was on Texas. He said, what kind of tickles me is all these people asking questions about how Texas always ran the conference they were in. They're not going to run the SEC, which is a fascinating little quote there. I know everybody wants to give Nick Saban the benefit of the doubt, talk about maybe the context in which he was speaking was more administrative or political. Whichever way you want to run with it, Texas never ran the conference. As much as people want to talk about the Longhorns were the big mover, the people mover, the team mover, whatever. Did they have a voice? They have a strong voice? Sure. But I very much doubt Joe Castiglione sat back and be like, Texas, just kind of do what you want. We're just along for the ride.
No, now, see, I agree with you there. Joe Castiglione definitely didn't just sit back there and say, no, this is not going to happen. But I think the context that everybody's pointing out with Saban in this is that's the reason why Texas A&M left, right? When Texas got that Longhorn network, they're like, wait a minute, y'all going to let them just do this on their own and make their own money? And the conference was kind of like, we kind of do, because if we don't, they're going to either become an independent or they're going to try to go to the Pac-12 again, which that's what they tried to pull with Oklahoma. So for us, it's kind of one of those, we know that our value is going to be high and they're going to have to pay us. Like, we don't have to push for anything additional because they understand without both Oklahoma and Texas, the brand isn't going to be as strong. Now, granted, the Big 12 did get themselves, a nice little contract where they started going ahead and poaching everybody else's teams because they recognize that, okay, we may not have Oklahoma, Texas, but we may have a great value set of teams that could do a good job and give us a solid product. And that's what's important. But truth be told, Texas is pushing a lot of people around in the Big 12, and the Big 12, they really were complicit. And honestly, that could have been the demise. The beauty of what Saban said, though, is SEC ain't going to do that. And I've said this before, and some people laughed at me when I said it. Texas will end up being an independent before they get a chance to tell the SEC what they're going to do. Why do you think the Longhorn Network is gone? They absorb that bad boy right into the SEC network and say, look here, buddy, you're a great brand, but we've got a lot of championship brands here too. We can play the same game you can play. And so Texas is going to take a back seat and just be a standard team and understand that, sure, they've got a big brand and a big fan base, but they're not bigger than Bama, Georgia, and in some parts, Oklahoma.
I mean, Oklahoma's got the success on the field. Texas might be the Dallas Cowboys of the college football, but that isn't necessarily a good thing. And I say that as a Cowboys fan. So
I know that hurts. I know that hurts all you internally.
Every time I say it, but it's the reality of the situation. Big
it's
brand,
a Texas thing.
Very little success.
Feels like a Texas thing.
It's just a Texas thing. Everything's bigger, even the hype. So did you also call all of the Big 12 additions after Oklahoma and Texas great value brands?
I mean,
or was that on accident? Or did I just
no?
You
didn't make
great value, but I wasn't sure if that was the right context.
It was great value. It was 100% great value. I mean, let's look at it. Let's be realistic. Here, right? I mean, I
disagree with you. I just want to make sure I heard that right.
Let me put it to you this way. When I go to Walmart and I want to get some ice cream, sometimes I buy the great value version of the mint chocolate chip because it has a little bit better minty taste to it. but it's still not as good as the Bluebell or the Brahms version. But it's good. It gives you it has a little extra mint, so it gives a little different flavor. It doesn't mean that it's worse. It's just it isn't like your creme de la creme, right? And we see that 100% from the TV deals. That tells you everything you need to know, where the eyeballs are going. At the same time, who got the big stadium sizes. So yeah, I kind of did say it, but I still love y'all. I'm gonna watch the games.
I like Big 12 football. It's gonna be fun. I'll be interested to see Shadur Sanders and how many sacks he takes next year. But
same.
Yeah. So we're gonna have some more SEC Media Day takeaways coming up next. Oklahoma is getting that respect heading into the league, even if a lot of the national analysts aren't high on Oklahoma. The coaches certainly are. We'll discuss coming up next here on Locked On Sooners. Passion, drive, and patience. What defines the SEC is also what keeps your ride or die alive. That is the formula for winning championships. Over at eBay Motors, they've got everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. You'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. So keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers.